Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is DB333, and welcome back to Hardspire for the New Order Last Days of Europe as the Greater German Reich. Now, in the last video, Hitler is in a coma. Influence is being gotten within the echelons of power. And we're trying to prepare for, let's face it, the inevitable civil war. We're not going to be able to convince these crazy fucks to side with us. So, it is all up to us, ladies and gentlemen, to prep things out. Now I'm trying to do a bit of a recording session real quickly because my power is due to go out later tonight. And it's supposed to be out until, I think they said Wednesday. Though with PG&E, you never fucking know, do ya? So, I'm trying to record a little bit more, so let's get working on scaling back military production. Yet another Speer's grabs with the economy is the influence held upon German industry by the Wehrmacht. Military needs are playing too far greater role in the economy. Germany's massive military costs a ridiculous amount on its own, and a tremendous amount of the German industrial base is dedicated to keeping it supplied. Therefore, Speer has wisely determined that the Reich's economic situation would improve if we were to scale back on our military production, as it's unlikely that the Reich will be engaged in a major conflict anytime soon. So I guess we'll go ahead and do that. Let's see. Yeah, the Jews are not having a very good time, I've noticed. Yeah. So, that's my day. How's your guys' day going? Is your power going out yet? Let's see. Ooh, we can look for opportunities. After the Second World War, the German military bore no rival. Our military spending was second to none, as was our might. We proved the world our strength by accomplishing what many consider impossible. We retained tight control over our conquests, then expanded our empire even more by occupying the entire middle section of the Dark Continent. Since then, we've spent the better part of 2 decades crushing army after army of partisans, as well as a Russian invasion. The economic collapse of the 50s made the burden of maintaining the HoI's budget a titanic struggle. There we go. Although many begged for funds to be funneled elsewhere, Hitler stood by the Wehrmacht and would not hear of it. Therefore, for the last 2 decades, Germany has somehow miraculously maintained its military budget, for better or worse, without another major economic crisis. Militarists in both the Wehrmacht and administration continue to lobby to maintain current spending to this day. On the other side of the aisle, a coalition of reformers, civilian interests, industrialists, and even limited numbers of conservatives from the Nazi Party beg us to cut the Wehrmacht's budget for a much-needed allocation of funds elsewhere. Being in a position of power ourselves, combined with Hitler's ailing health, allows us now to make a change in policies, if we so choose. Let's invest in the economy instead. And so let's check our influence. We're still moderate. I think it's 75 is the next cutoff for a stronger economy. And so we're doing pretty well, so I'm thinking we'll start working on a bit of infrastructure in our future territory. Because I don't know what else to do, honestly. We're going to finish up another civvy factory in Hessen. Looks like... Are we going to get Bremen? I don't remember getting Bremen when I did my test game, though I might just be blanking on it. I know we're close enough to Hamburg that we can, in theory, do a little push to try to unite our fronts, but I'm not sure. This might be Bormann, honestly, building up forts. Or Goring. Yeah, war is hell. Got the military state of Madagascar. Good for them, I guess. We'll see what ends up happening there. Let's see. Yeah, our military expenditure is fucking nuts. Holy crap. Are we... We actually are making a bit of money, it looks like. I'll try to pay off the debt a bit. Yeah, we're actually making money, which is kind of weird. I didn't expect that. Let's up our construction then. Just start working on giving ourselves as much of an advantage as we can. And we are viewing the full might of the German industrial base. Gosh darn. It's a lot of... Looking at a lot of factories. And then too little too late. In recent weeks, the situation within the Greater German Reich has worsened counter to Speer's belief that they would have improved due to the implementation of reformist economic policies. Instead, Herr Speer has begun to realize that things are going to get worse before they get better, and at this rate it'll be some time before the Reich is able to achieve economic reform. It's more than obvious we've achieved too little, too late. So we'll lose some support of fascism, but a bit more war support. And so that might help us a little bit. We could try to get some more guys. They're all making moves right now, it looks like. Yeah. I'm not seeing many forts where, old, fuck, what's his name? Heydrich is going to spawn up. So it makes me think we might have a bit of an advantage there. Got the artillery improvement. Engineering, Iberian Council, we'll see how that goes. Ooh. September. Yeah, we don't have much longer. Let's see what's happening in... Okay, Cheetah's going up against more that might save Magadan right now. See, Cheetah's in a... Might be putting themselves in a decent situation here. If they're lucky. Yeah, okay. We're not in a half-bad situation ourselves, honestly. Now, I'll bring some more here, guys, to our side. Hopefully it'll be enough time. Because the Civil War is going to be starting... Let's see, Hitler's supposed to die due next month. I forget exactly when it's coded in, but it'll happen soon enough. I'm looking for a few more opportunities, so let's do so. Student protest... Okay, I think we haven't read this before. Student protests have long plagued the Reich. Intermittent rallies and campus marches are not unheard of and have been held in small numbers ever since the Nazis came into power. However, protests have become much more frequent and intense after Hitler announced his successor. In major cities all across the Reich, German students have held rallies and marches across university campuses, with some migrating into the streets. Sit-ins have effectively shut down most campuses, and students have taken it upon themselves to block off government army buildings. Many of the larger gatherings are flat out refusing to disperse. And students at many of the sit-ins refuse to budge. A large crowd of over 200 people even blocked off an SS barracks. It's a miracle that no one died. We need to do something about the student protesters now, before the situation spirals out of our hands. One way or another, we need to take action. And they have a right to protest. Make sure they're safe. So we're gonna have the most influence, starting off with the war. I guess the question is, how is that gonna translate out for us? Too little, too late. So we're done with our focus tree. All we can do really right now is wait. Wait for old Hitler to die. There we go, the fascists. Yep, and Cheetah is looking pretty thick right about now. Another military factory, why not? There we go, trains by Call versus Magadan. Yeah, I think Cheetah might have the advantage, because I know Magadan's troops were trapped, so they're probably weakened. More military factories. Let's work on another in Mutsta. And we can do something else. Let's quit working on one in FUEHRER'S. See if that'll help us out. It's happening soon, I know it. Oh, Bormann is making moves. Gottverdammt, Bormann. Was ist das? He lies catatonic on his deathbed, alone except for his physician seated aside. Outside of his room lie 100 million souls in terrible waiting. His consciousness is in an empty bliss beyond this world. His life flashes by him in reverse. He recalls her funeral, how his heart broke and only his reverence to his motherland remained. The Cathedral of Light during the victory parade after the war, the long conquest against Judeo-Bolshevism, he mercilessly fought. The world's powers in awe of Germany at the Olympic Games. His struggle to break the old order with blood and steel. The house of his parents where he first dreamed to end all dreams. The stream ends with one final shot of morphine. His worn eyes open from ejection. He looks around as if searching for something. Behind the sliver of luminance left in between the curtains, he sees the folks all bathed in sunlight. He stares at the dome for some time, trying to remember Deutschland, before he hears a whisper. The only voice he ever truly loved. He shifts his gaze, and for a fleeting moment, she is there. Her apparition fading, he whispers his last word. A single tear welling in his eyes. Eva! I'm sorry, I had to do that. There were no sounds for a while, except for the faint susurrating of oak leaves and the chirping of barn swallows. The news of Adolf Hitler's passing came after 1 hour of peace. There would never again be silence for the children of Germania. Farewell, mein Führer. Fuck, way to make me feel bad for Hitler, strangely enough. Speer ascended the steps with a thudding heart. Brandt had summoned him from Germania with just 4 words. We need to talk. Although he had been too paranoid to say any more. Over the last week, Brandt had ousted a spy among the Berghoff staff and uncovered bugging devices in every room. Whatever the doctor had to say, it was to be in person. Deep down, Speer knew what this meeting would herald. He looked up to see the solemn Brandt standing awkwardly at the front door, greeting him with a limp salute. He's dead, Brandt whispered. A wave of emotions washed over Speer. Grief, anger, the ice-cold sense of dread. Brandt said something else, but Speer wasn't listening. He wanted to drift back to the first time he and Hitler had first met. He wanted to reminisce about the countless hours the two of them had spent planning the Germania project. He wanted to replay the final lucid conversations they had had. Yet this was not the time to be idle. The future awaited and demanded a clear mind. The minutes turned into hours. The hours grew into days. Soon the rumors had spread through the Reich. The Führer was dead. The Reich was officially leaderless. Reichsminister! Speer's secretary burst into the room. I've just been informed that the Reichstag met today to discuss Hitler's death. The Emergency Council refused to legally pronounce you as Führer. They said it was a time for mourning, not ceremony. Speer shot to his feet with a curse. His mind was racing faster than ever. Germany had slipped from his grasp. There was no time to lose. War was coming. Extensive preparation had already been made. It was time to fly west. Never send to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for the Hitler's dead. Something wrong. I hold my head. Hitler's gone. The Führer's dead. I slapped my girl. She called the feds. I did that time and spent that bread. I don't know a better way to work that song. There we go. Tragedy has consumed Germany as the news spread first throughout the Reich and then the world. Adolf Hitler, Führer of Germany and victor of the Second World War, has died. Whilst the Führer's declining health had been speculated about for some time, the news nevertheless left Germany in a state of complete shock. The Reichstag has announced that 3 months of mourning shall be held, and that the Führer shall be buried beside his late wife, Eva Hitler, with dignitaries from around the world invited to the funeral. While Germany mourns internationally, many are celebrating the death of the man held responsible for 3 decades of suffering throughout the world. Yet many international commentators fear what may now become of Germany, the Third Reich having already been in battle in a bitter power struggle over the rightful successor to the Führership. A day to remember. I doubt we're going to be able to finish these factories. Actually, maybe this one. I don't know. The funeral for Adolf Hitler was possibly... we're not going to be able to finish. It was possibly the largest and most extravagant in history. Thousands of Germans stood in attendance, with nearly an entire division of soldiers just for the funeral march, not to mention endless flyovers by the Luftwaffe, and the constant jockeying for the best spots to show off over a dozen military units. Even standout figures such as John F. Kennedy and representatives of Emperor Hirohito were in attendance. Heydrich, Speer, Göring, and Bormann were all in attendance, and all gave their words on their leader's passing. Today is a day of mourning. Crisis has struck Germany. We must be strong in the coming days, together. For the entire Reich, now is a time for healing. And then they were gone. Not even half an hour after the body was lowered, 4 staff cars and their convoys were speeding off to parts unknown, preparing for plans, no doubt, only just beginning. Well, that was abrupt. So we have the most influence out of all of them. There we go. Since the death of Hitler, the Luftwaffe has begun to act awry. The great jet birds began to fly without command. Across many areas of the Reich, airfields vacate as seemingly every air wing in the Luftwaffe undertakes a great migration. Their destinations yet unknown. The strange flocking habits of these Luftwaffe birds is not restricted to just the aircraft. Fallschirmjäger divisions, too, load up their equipment and personnel into aircraft with an unwarranted haste, and soar off into destinations unknown. Luftwaffe personnel seem to be in the midst of an utter abandonment of posts countrywide, with only a scarce few commanders planting their contingents firm upon their assigned airfields. As Field Marshal Speidel frantically attempts to officially ascertain the status of the Luftwaffe, motorcades in Germany are seemingly filled with their top brass, leaving their offices for personal reasons, pre-planned leave, or simply departing Berlin with so much as a word to their superiors. Speidel might not have the official status of the dilemma on hand, yet there's no doubt in the minds of any that this is the work of the old Reich Marshal Göring. Well, his pieces will soon be in place. Goddamn. Look at all that little manpower. Oh. The Reich sits in a state of confusion now. For the past week, the Reichstag has been at one another's throats over the simple matter of who the citizens of the Reich should hail now that the Führer is dead. While it was always assumed that the next Führer would be saluted, the current chaos and lack of any real planning for this crisis meant that the German people have been left in a state of utter confusion as the Reichstag has bickered and more ideologically minded hailed their chosen candidate for the office. Soldiers hailed their generals or their home cities. Citizens hailed workers. And the economy, some still hailed Hitler. It seemed as if every German had decided on their own special little salute, and nobody liked one another's. By the end of a week, Heil the Reich had become the most agreed upon salute by the people of Germany, but nobody seems particularly enthused about it anymore. Can we agree on nothing? Jesus. Across the country, men... That's something in my throat, jeez. Across the country, men from here abandoned their post. Some divisions' roll call have reported half or sometimes more of their men going AWOL. In a couple instances, entire infantry and panzer divisions have simply disappeared off the map, only to reappear across the country in southern Germany. No explanation can be shaken from the officers and generals of these divisions, since they are either nowhere to be found or hidden away in the black spot of South Germany. To make matters worse, late last night, the general staff in Berlin vanished. A convoy of personal cars and military trucks filled with high-ranking officers and their attachments were last seen heading south after picking up the troops at our checkpoints. There is little doubt that they are also heading south. Here, messengers run amok in Germania, and formations all across Germany are suddenly leaderless and further disintegrating. From one partially burnt letter, an aide managed to dig up, alongside a couple of taped phone recordings, revealed a common, simple phrase from Martin Bormann himself. It is time. Looks like Bormann's making his move. Actually, it says so. They're all making moves. After the wave of violence continues throughout Germany, Heydrich has declared himself the rightful Führer of all Germany. This is not news from him, but what is news is the fact that he's called upon his SS to restore order within the country. Forces of the SS based in Alsace-Lothringen, conveniently close to the border with Burgundy, and Ostpreußen, his strongest area of support, have stormed local police stations and administrative buildings with full intent of taking over all of Germany. Thanks to the absolute state of the Reich, however, we can do nothing. Seems that it has begun. We have the, what do you call them? Wait, I gotta check something. Okay, yeah, it's good. It's not where we built stuff. Yeah, it's starting. The Demilitarized Zones are popping up. Speerians rise up. After recent chaos on the Reich, Albert Speer and divisions loyal to him began a rebellion in the northwest of Germany. Armed students have taken over government buildings in the area, and student uprisings have been reported throughout the country. Our country now continues to crumble as the first sparks of a civil war have been lit. Speeriettes? Okay, yeah. So it looks like... Right, we have Hanover in our territory. That would have been nice to know. Can we do something about that real quick, perhaps? No, we can't build anything in there. Never mind. Modify government. We can't add an economy minister. Never mind. As the streets began to fill with sounds of war and forces loyal to each contender began armed insurrection, Hermann Göring has called upon loyal legions to stamp out rebellion within the nation by starting his own. About half of the country's total landmass have declared themselves loyal to him. His forces now begin open battles against disloyal militiamen and the rest of the contenders. Would Hitler have wanted this? Probably not. But here we are anyway. The German Reich, once a triumphant victor, has collapsed into outright civil war. This fact was confirmed earlier today as Martin Bormann, rather reluctantly, ordered the remaining German forces loyal to him to fully break away from the Reich, to begin warfare against the rest of the contenders for the next Führer. Our eagle has fallen. God hilf uns. Gott hilf uns. Oh, Scheiße. Yep, they're making their moves. While tensions have been rising between the various factions in the Reich for years, nobody quite expected the explosion of violence that came shortly after the death of the Fuhrer. Everyone had seen, of course, the politicians scattering to their homes, the military arming themselves and locking down roads, the police taking up their heaviest weapons and barricading their stations, but for an outright civil war? Expected or not, however, the war is here. Military units have focused their attention on Germania, ensuring the capital remains under military control, but elsewhere the pretenders to the throne of the Reich have armed themselves and fighting has broken out across Germany. Speer, Heydrich, Bormann, Göring. Nobody knows which will win, but all the people of a nation know that dark days are ahead of them. With Germany in collapse and anarchy in the streets, foreign powers have already begun debating what to do. The US and Japan both have already begun looking into how best to exploit the chaos, and Iberia and Italy have quickly begun militarizing in order to carve out further influence in the chaos. The Reich Commissariats, ostensibly loyal vassals of the Reich, sit in chaos as well, their leaders debating on who to support, whether it's not time to begin distancing their realms from the homelands. But there will be blood. Okay. Whew. The German Civil War. It is thus necessary that the individual should finally come to realize that his own ego is of no importance in comparison with the existence of that of the nation. Adolf Hitler, 1933. And so it begins. In the wake of Adolf Hitler's death, the Reich has erupted into chaos. Despite the Führer's appointment of a legal successor, powerful factions within the Reich have taken up arms against one another with the interest of leading the nation in their vision. The nation is torn, with entire garrisons ignoring orders from Germania and flocking to the successor of their choice. Though the gravity of the situation is not yet known, it's estimated that the Reich is either facing or already experiencing total collapse of central authority. Though not much is known about the fate of the Reich's eastern administrations, the sudden cessation of contact between Germania and her possessions has created speculation on if those regions too will find their fate. What is known for sure, however, is that the collapse of Europe's Titan has thrown the continent asunder. The end of the Reich, surely. Well, here we are, guys. Okay. So we gotta go ahead. Here's how we're gonna do this. Okay. We'll do this for now. But I need the tanks. Where? Because I know we start off with some tanks. There we are. We have one here. I think we have 4 units of tanks. I just gotta find the other one. Is that it? Okay, hold on. Let me, I'll sign a field marshal real quick. Let's see who we have left. We have Henning von Treschow. It's one of our main guys, so I'll put him in there. And then we have... Let's go with... We'll put, do we have any who get, I guess, extra troops? That's one question. It doesn't look like it. We got Helmut Steife, so we'll put him there. Here we have... Let's go with... let's see what else we got. Ranger might be good, honestly. Oh, let's do Karl Sokol. He's not the best so far, but we can train him with the war. Now is a great time to get him some more experience. Plus, he has some decent perks already. And then, for Army 3, I think the obvious one is General Ewald Heinrich von Kleitz Schmenzen? Something like that. so here's what we'll do. There's the last one. I was wondering where you went, buddy. Okay, actually, I realized something. We're gonna need a couple different fronts. So here we'll go with Helmut. Do I already have Helmut Stiefa? Oh no, I already have. Back. I don't want to double up on generals already. We'll do Wessel Freitag von Loringhoven. I'll take half a half. Put them there. That's actually not too bad for now. Right, we have these guys, it seems. Do front line with these guys. Go ahead and put them there. Your guys' deal is you gotta fall back here. Just defend Hamburg the best you can until we meet up there. You guys your guys' goal is that you gotta go on the Bormann faction. And then here you guys are watching Heydrich and the tanks. Yeah, one, two, 3 tanks. 4 tanks. These guys' goal will put you all of them there. Your goal is to try to push in and retake Hamburg. Yeah, that works. Or connect us up to Hamburg. We got some guns we gotta get working on, so let's build some guns, because I know we're gonna need some. What are our divisions made up of? Anti-tank, artillery, and support equipment, it looks like. So let's get that going. Anti-tank, support equipment, artillery, of course, will be very, very important. Main battle tanks and motorized. So let's get thum. The mouse is the house. The improved main battle tank. We'll get that going, and then where's the motorized? Basic motorized equipment. There we go. And then for dockyards, just work on convoys for now. That's really all I can think of. Alright. So eventually, whenever you guys want to go, you have an offensive line there. Whenever you guys are ready to go, we'll do this. You guys, when you're ready, we need you to push up into Kiel and surround up until this point. This is going to be, what's the name of it? Those are factories. Work on that sooner because there's more infrastructure, so we'll get more stuff out of it. This is going to be the capital zone. I forget what it is called right off the top of my head. Alright, so the German Civil War is as much decided in the hearts and minds of the German people as it is on the hearts of the battlefield. The quest for legitimacy continues, and as so does influence we can exert on areas controlled by the contenders linger. Keeping and gaining them might just be the edge we need to win the battle for the Reich's future. We have some pretty high legitimacy, 75. What else do we got? We have, this is our the state of our legitimacy. We're getting some extra PP, a little some slight downsides to the efficiency cap and training time, but our planning speed is pretty solid. So we have a lot of reform fascist support. We also have the student movement, which is liberal democracy. We also have the more reactionary side of the National Socialists. And we have Albert Speer, of course. Many things are said of Albert Speer, yet no one can deny his ambition. Like many others, he did not join the Nazi Party that fateful day 1931 for late Fuhrer's fiery rhetoric. It was Adolf Hitler's calm and collected speech during a rally in Berlin that intoxicated the young architect, leading him to join the party the year after. What started as a favor to a fellow member became a recommendation to Joseph Goebbels. The recommendation became a commission to renovate the local Nazi headquarters. Before long, he had drawn the personal interest of the Führer himself. Hitler became a passionate admirer of his vision, and together they drafted plans of a new Germany. By the war's end, Speer was a close friend of the Führer and presided over his own ministry, and touted a reputation as the man who transformed the Reich's economy into a war-winning machine. No matter the cost of life, the dream of a new Germany had been realized. Reputation is rarely truth, but he made sure that everyone knew of this. It was in the midst of Germania's construction that the economy crashed, and his lofty dreams with it. Pinning the blame was easy. Slavery, the very system Speer created to win the war, doomed Germany in the peace. It was an unprecedented disaster, one that Speer could not ignore. The Reich and Volk deserved greatness. His dreams deserved reality. Reform was necessary. Years of open criticism of Nazi policy followed, and he soon found himself somewhere unexpected once again, as the figurehead of the largest reform movement Germany had seen in decades. Speer's ambitious goals and reputation as a dissenter enveloped countless of young dreamers and old rivals around him, in a political maelstrom unlike any other. And now he walks this perilous tightrope he crafted, as he balances not only his own future, but also that of the Reich. So, it's going to be a rough scenario we're in. War has started. It's Bormann versus Göring versus Heydrich. I don't envy our situation at all. These are only occupied states. I'm going to guess we're going to get cores in a second. But there's only so much we have. We only have so much time to worry about this. And, in fact, we have none right now, so I'm going to have to cut it here, folks. So thank you as always for watching. Like this video, go ahead and leave a like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you want to see more of this content in the future, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. More uploads every weekday, as well as every Saturday. If you have any comments, feedback, concern, anything of the sort, go ahead and leave it in the comment section below. I read all the comments I get, and I appreciate any and all feedback you kind folks might have for me. If you want to send a few bucks my way, I have a Patreon down in the link below. You can check that out. If you want to chat or play games, I have a Discord. And if you want to just see me do this sort of stuff live, I have a Twitch you can check out. So that's about it for now, folks. Thank you as always for watching. My name has been DB333, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.